Okay, so we are now going to discuss on how are we going to send or receive data from other pages. So what we have before is pass data from one component to another. Okay, and we also transferred from one page to another, but without passing data, passing or receiving data. Okay, so since we are now on the hooks topic, so we are now going to discuss on how are to send or receive data using React hooks. Okay, but before that, okay, okay. So we have here our last. Okay, this one here. So I'm just going to edit it first. Okay, so I'm just going to remove, since we don't need all of these. Okay, RAFC. Then this is our home. So what I want is I just want to create a link. Okay, so how are we going to create a link? So first is we are going to import. Okay, import link from next slash link. Okay, then we're going to have, I'm going to use link, then its ref is equal to, I'm going to call the about page. Okay, so I'm just going to have slash about, then I'm going to have here about. Okay, save. Okay, so I'm here. I have a very simple link. So when I click on about, so it just go to the about page. And as you can see here, for our about page, is we have, it just display the word about. Okay, so what I want is I want to pass data to about page. Okay, but before going there, let's try. I just want to show you this one. Okay, for example, I'm going to search for the Philippines. Okay, never mind the result, but what I want you to take note here is the URL. Okay, I'm not going to include the others, but I'm just going to have the first parameter. Okay, so I'm just going to put it here so that it would be clearer. So as you can see here, we have the URL for Google. Okay, then after that we have a forward slash, then I know this is the complete URL, by the way. Okay, because it included a subdirectory which is search. Okay, so this is the complete URL. Then as you can see, then the next character is we have the question mark. What does the question mark means? It means that the next set of text here are actually a key value pairs. Okay, it would be key value pairs. Okay, so when is the key here is the parameter name, and the value is the value. Okay, so for example here, Q is our parameter and Philippines is our value. Okay, and going back, if ever there would be another pair, so we have, I don't know how are they going to use this one, SCA, ESV, UPV, and so on. Okay, so Q, by the way, is query. Okay, that is being used by Google. So if ever there will be another parameter, so we're just going to use the ampersand, then let's say param2 is equal to, let us say 6. Okay, so what I have here now is I am sending, take note, we are sending here into this URL two parameters. First, we have the Q and then param2, in which they have their values, Q for the Philippines and param2 for 6. Okay? And the parameters are delimited by the ampersand. Okay? So take note, this is our URL and this is our parameters. They are delimited by question mark. Okay? So what I want to do now is I'm going to send data to a bot. I'm just going to send a single parameter with, let us say, name. Okay? So actually I could go directly here, question mark, meaning this is now my this is my URL and this would be my parameters. I'm going to have here, let us say I'm going to have name is equal to pitok. Okay? Send. Okay, save. Oops. Okay, so I am now on the main page. I'm just going to refresh it. Now, try to look at here. Okay? At the lower left portion of the screen, as I'm going to point on the link, so you consider now the about and the parameter. And as I'm going to click on the link, so you could see there about, then the question mark, meaning we have here now our parameter. Okay, so name and pitok. So as you can see, we have sent data or parameter into this page. Okay, so if ever we're going to have another parameters, I'm just going to include ampersand, then let us say address is equal to Cagayan de Oro. Then save. Then send. So you could see it there now. We have the name, then ampersand and address, then Cagayan de Oro. And by the way, we have here now %20, meaning that's a space. Okay. So that's how are we going to send through our link. But then, how are we going to access these parameters? Okay. So to access those parameters, so let's go to, no, it's not. Okay, so we have here useSearchParams. Okay, useSearchParams is client component hook. Take note, it is a hook that lets you read the current URL's query string. So by the way, this is what we call as a query string. Let's go back there. So this is now what we call as the complete URL is our query string. By the way, this is our query string. Okay, so if you want to access that, then we are going to use useSearchParams hook. Okay, so how are we going to use useSearchParams so that we could access the query string being passed into our URL? So first is we're going to import it from next navigation. Okay, then we are going to assign a variable that is going to the object that is we are going to use then in manipulating our query string. Okay, then we are going to use the get method so that we could get each of the parameters. Okay, so we are going to follow this one here on our about page, since it is on our about page where we are going to accept or receive our data or parameters. Okay, so first we're going to have to import use search params from next navigation. Okay, but as you can see also here, since based on our definition, it is a client component, so therefore we must have to issue the command or the statement use client. Okay, so we have it there. Use client. Okay, so next is we are going to assign a variable or an object. Okay, I'm just going to call it params. Okay, is equal to use search params, just like in this way that it assigned here search params as the object for manipulating our query string. The next is we are going to get. Actually, we still have other methods, but we are just going to concentrate now since our topic here is only for retrieving or receiving data. So we're just going to have get. Okay. Later on, we're going to have the other methods. Okay, so I'm just going to display, let us say, I'm going to display here the name. Okay, the name sent to this page is, now what was the name? So we have params that get, then we have name. Okay, or we're just going to have it directly there. Okay, okay, but then as you could see here, okay, I'm just going to have it, I'm going to show you first this one. Click on about the names, and to this page is params that get, then we have the name. So it displays here the word params get name. It is because it doesn't recognize as of now that this params here is actually the variable or the object that we have defined above. Okay, so that it would be recognized as a JavaScript object. So we're going to enclose it with curly braces. Save. And we have here now Pitok. Okay, so as you can see there, the name is Pitok, and we are going to have the address. I'm going to have here, and the address is params that get, then we have address and close. Okay, and the address is Cagayan de Oro. So as you can see, we have there the address is we have Cagayan de Oro. As you can see there also, address is we have Cagayan de Oro, and the name is we have Pitok. Okay, so this is use search params hook. Okay, and by the way, if ever we are going to follow the example, we could have here, let's say name is equal to, anyway, this is case to case basis, params that get, then we have name const address is equal to, we have there address. Then instead that we're going to have here the params, so I'm just going to have the name, and I'm going to have here the address. Actually, they are just the same. Save. Okay, so this one here is the first H1. I'm using here the params that get into my JSX. Then the next is same, actually same output, but I am using here the variable name and address that are defined into my here before I read or outside of my JSX. Okay, so that's how are we going to use useSearchParams hook in receiving data. Okay, so next is we are going to have useRouter. Okay, useRouter hook allows you to programmatically change routes inside client components. Okay, first I am sending here, or I'm changing routes from here or page through the link. Okay, so and we are going to wait for the user to click on the link before it is going to change route or it is going to change page. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this one. So we have here our link, okay? And when are we going to change page? When the user is going to click on the link, okay? But then, as the definition says, useRouter allows you to programmatically change routes inside client's component. Okay? The recommendation, use link component for navigation unless you have a specific requirement for using useRouter. Okay? Now, so when are we going to use link? Is when we're going to wait for the user to click on the link. And when are we going to use useRouter to programmatically change? For example, you have a login page, okay? And when the user successfully logs into the application, so the next thing you're going to do is you are going to automatically send that user into the home page. Okay? So what you're doing there is actually you are programmatically changing or sending the user to another page without the user clicking on a link. Okay, so that's the use of useRouter. So how are we going to use useRouter? So we have here import useRouter from next navigation. Okay, so I'm going back to our code. So we're going to import useRouter, okay, from next. Okay, it is now from, take note, it is now from next navigation. Router is for the old navigation. Okay, is for the old router. Okay, so we are now going to have from the next navigation. Okay, so let us say I'm just going to have I'm just going to have a button on click. Okay, good. So what we have here, I'm just going to show you first this one. So how to send, okay, how to programmatically send the user to another page is by using the method push. Okay, then the page. It's that simple. Okay, so let us say I'm going to have on click. Okay, I'm going to use the callback. Okay, we could directly do it this way. If ever we are not going to do anything else, so we're just going to directly use it in a callback function. Okay, but before going there is again, we are going to create an object that we're going to use for the router. Okay, so from here, I'm going to have, I'm just going to call it router. Actually, you could call it anything the way you want. Okay, it's equal to use router. Okay, then here I'm going to have router dot push. Then go to about. Save. Oh, no, no, no. Button. Then we're going to, let us say we're going to have here login. Login meaning, but then we are actually going to about. Oops. Okay. There we go again. So I must have to use client. I was thinking that I am still on the about page. Use client. Okay. So I have there the login button. Although I am clicking now, okay, but I don't have, I clicking on the button, okay. I'm just simulating actually the login. But anyway, later on, I'm going to have the login routine. Okay, so click. So we are now on the about. Although we don't have the parameters. Okay, never mind yet. Okay, what I did here so far is I have sent the user to another page without using a link. Okay, it is on a button click, and as you can see, by the way, this is, we are now inside a function. So this is programmatically sending or changing the route from the current page to about. Okay. So that I could, okay, I'm going to create here, let us say, const login okay, I'm going to simulate a login. So here I'm going to have here input type is equal to text. Okay, value is we are going to import useState from React. Okay, I hope you can still remember this one. So I'm just going to have one, okay, username and set username is equal to useState. Okay, by default we're going to have a blank username. Okay, so that's here we have value is equal to username. Then we have unchanged. Okay. Okay, so we have set username. Then we're going to have the event that target that value. I'm going to check it first. Okay, I could type now. Then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send the value inputted by the user on the username input text. Okay, when I click on login, it is going to call the about page. Okay, so instead that we're going to have the push here, is I'm going to call login. Okay, that's why I created here a login function. Okay, Uh, Now there are two. By the way, there are two ways on how are we going to uh, do the query string. Okay. So first, I'm going to show you again. We're just going to use this one here. Okay. So we have. I'm just going to have it this way. Q, or the query string, is equal to name is equal to whatever is inputted by the user. Okay. I'm just going to use, I guess, the backtick. Then name is equal to, okay, then the username. Okay, so take that here. I'm sending, I'm just going to name it query. Now I'm just going to call it query. Okay, query string, so that it would be more descriptive. Okay, so I hope you're going to avoid naming your variables as A, B, C, D, or Q, just like we're using here Q. Anyway, Q stands for the query string. Okay, then after that, I'm going to use router dot push, then slash about, then the question mark. By the way, I'm still going to use the backtick. Okay, so that I could use string. I'm not going to use plus anymore, but I'm just going to use string interpolation, just like on line number 11. Okay, so we have here that slash about, then we have the question mark and the query string. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send this one here, or I just could actually directly input it here, but I'm just going to use it this way first. Okay, so save. Okay, I'm going to use the name Donald Duck, then login. Okay, the name is Donald Duck, and as you can see here now, name is equal to Donald Duck. Okay, or again, as I've said, I can use actually directly this one here and replace it into my, after the question mark, I'm just going to have this one here, so so that you're going to have a reference. Okay, the other way to do it is just copy this one, then supply it here. Name is equal to, okay, save. Okay, refresh. Then I'm going to have Mickey Mouse. Oops. Login. So we have here. So same result. Okay. What I did is I just written it directly, or attach it directly into my query string, onto my URL. I mean, because again, this is my URL. Okay. So another way to do this one, okay, if you don't want to interpolate strings, or if you don't want, again, to concatenate strings, we have an object. Okay, in JavaScript, take note. In JavaScript is we have the URL search params. Okay, what's the purpose of URL search params? Defines utility method with the query string. Okay, if you could remember the definition of useRouter, okay, it is a read-only version of URL search params. Okay, so take note, URL search params is a JavaScript object. Okay? So we have it here. So one way, by the way, it works with query string of a URL. Okay? So we have here a lot of, actually you could go back here and try to take note of these different methods, okay, of URL search params. But what I'm going to use here, I'm going to show you here, is we have the append. Okay, so the append method appends a specified key value pair as a new search parameter. Okay, and in JavaScript we have here the syntax append name then value. Okay, so how to use it? We have it here. Okay, search params then append. Okay, so we're going to follow this one without actually the URL first, because we are not going to use our URL because we are going to use our useRouter later on. Okay, I'm just going to show you the syntax for the append. Okay, so I'm just going to instead that I'm going to use, take note of, we're going to have the same result but in just different way. So first is we are going to define a params, okay, object as new URL search params. Okay, so we have const params is equal to new URL search params. Okay, again, I'm not going to specify my URL. It is because I'm going to use later on router.push. Okay, then params.append. Okay, so we are going to have here params.append then key value pairs. I'm going to have name then comma and the value which is user name. Then we're going to have, okay, I don't have the address, I'm just going to have the name. So you might think, where does the parameter name come from? That will depend on here, okay, or vice versa. This is going to depend on this one here. Okay, I'm just going to add okay, I'm going to use state, and then I'm going to use address and set address. Okay, so that I'm going to send two parameters into my about page or to the next page. So set address. Okay, I think that is going to, what we'll do now, so save. No, later on. The next is I'm going to send also the address. Okay, so we have here the address, which is, we have this one here. So next is router.push. Then we have still on the about page, okay, but with the parameters. Okay, so since they're using the parameters, and by the way, again, I'm going to use the backtick here, and then that's less about, then params. Okay, so save. Let's try. Okay, so I'm going to have here Kulas and Kamigin. Okay, login. Okay, Kulas. We have it there. The name is Kulas and the address is we have Kamigin. Okay, and if ever we're going to have it here, so here. Okay, so I'm just going to add the ampersand, then address is equal to address. Okay, I'm going to remove this one here. Macuse and Kamigin. I'm going to add Lanzunes. Okay. Login. Okay. We have the name, Macuse, and the address, Kamigin, Lanzunes. Okay. So either way, so it's up to you, because there are some who are comfortable on using this one here, okay, the OOP way. As they said, you going to use object because it is more readable, especially if ever you're going to have, let us say, 10 parameters or more than 5. Okay, it would be a bit messy if ever we're just going to use a single this one here. Although you could, I think you could still separate them into multiple lines, but sometimes this is neater compared with this one. But again, it's up to you. So both using the URL search params or just the query string, okay, you're going to append directly the query string into your URL. So it depends on your preferred way. Okay, but anyway, both of them are send parameters or values into our through our query string. Okay, but how about if ever we want to send, we want a certain variable or parameter this is going to be visible in all pages. Okay, so in that way we could use actually the good old what they call as the session storage, as you have learned in your vanilla JavaScript. So we could have session storage that set, then let us say name, then comma user name, then session storage that set, then we have address, then we have the address. Okay, then just push without the parameters. Okay. Okay, so take note, this is going to set the parameters or variables name and address visible to all pages. So in my page.js then, on my about, instead that I'm going to have it this way. Okay, I'm just going to, okay, useSearchParams would not be usable anymore. Okay, so I'm just going to so const name is equal to session storage. We could do it that name, and const address is equal to address. Okay, then Okay, we have the name and the address. So we have here name and address. Okay, so I'll try. Okay, so from here, um, Marcus Lanzones. Okay, then login. Oops, we have an error. Oh, wait. Is it? Oh, wait. Is it set string? Oh, no. Oh, no. I already forgot. Set item. Okay, let's just try. Set item. Save. Login. Okay, it's set item. Okay. So, again, but take note here, we have the Marcus and Lanzones, but you could not see it there. Okay, so it is sent through a session storage. By the way, session storage, anyway, you have already discussed this one with your vanilla JavaScript. So this is all items, for example, name, address, are accessible only while the session is open. Okay, so you have also the local storage, that is, it is going to save the value for these variables into your browser. Okay, so the main difference here, as you can see, is that if ever we're just going to use the router.push with those parameters, okay, then we could see the query string onto our URL, okay, into our address. But with the session storage, it could pass, not actually pass, but it is going to store, or we could access those values from any pages that we have. Let us try the other pages. We have here the blogs. Okay, so I'm going to have. Okay, I'm just going to go directly session storage dot name. Okay, then I'm going to have from my page. Okay, I'm just going to go here, blogs. Okay, so take note, this is about, and we have accessed Marcus and Lanzones. So, let us see if I'm going to go directly with my blogs. It's not yet updated. Oh. What happened? It is because I should have enclosed this one into. Okay. Session storage is not defined. Session storage. I'm just going to start with from here. Marcus. Okay. Not defined. I think let us try. I'm just going to use client because the session storage is actually client based. Okay, maybe. Okay. Oops. Mhm. Okay, so as you could see, we have MacUse here. Okay. Then if I'm going to go to blogs, still we could see, oh, swipe there, MacUse. So meaning, um, the parameter or the variable name is now visible to all pages, okay, because of the session storage. So take note, I had an error here. It is because I did not issue the statement use client. Okay, so I guess that's all for today for the topic sending and receiving uh, data from other pages. So we used router, use search params, and the URL search params. Okay, so that's all for this video, and I'll see you on the next one.